Hi, good evening, everyone. Just waiting for a couple more minutes so that more people join, and then we will start. So another 2, 3 more minutes. Hi, good evening. Can I have cameras on, please? Whoever can, let's have cameras on. It's always easier to teach to a class whose faces I know rather than just names against a black screen. So whoever can, it would be very helpful for me to take this class. Otherwise, it will feel like I'm just talking to a bunch of robots, which I'm pretty sure you guys are not. Okay. And also later on, when you all send me LinkedIn requests to connect, if I don't remember your names, I would at least remember your faces. So that is also very helpful. So yeah. And I would like to have videos on for all of my classes because social media is not something that's theoretical, it's more practical. And one of the parts of being practical at work is being able to talk well or being able to emote well with just your faces. So, one of the things that you guys are going to be doing a lot is showing your faces to your clients, to your managers in pitches and presentations. So, it would be good for you all to start getting used to being more seen and getting used to have eyes on you. Okay, awesome. I can see some faces. Thank you for that. All right, to start with today's class, I'll just briefly introduce myself. My name is Sri Lakshmi. I am currently the head of social media and content at Wonderla. I have been with Wonderla for about 8, 9 months. It's my latest job right now. I started my career in public relations. I worked with Edelman India for about a year and a half, where I was managing tech clients like Nikon, AMD, HP, OnePlus that had just entered the market, etc. I quickly realized PR is not something that I'm very interested in. I wanted to do something more creative, something that has more to do with brands in a creative style. So I switched my job and I moved to my second job, which was with Little Black Book or LBB, as some of you might know. I worked with LBB for 3.5 years, which is where all of my knowledge about digital marketing and social media comes from. Some of my most favorite work that I did while I was with LBB was for Cadbury, Nestle Kit Kat, for Samsung, Fab India, Netflix, and the likes of it. After 3.5 years at LBB, I moved to Redbus, where I worked for 3.5 years, no, close to 3 years. I worked with 3+ years at Redbus for managing their social media and content. And very recently, I moved to Wonderla last year in May, and I head all the content and I head all the social media at Wonderla. So that's a brief about me. I have been associated with my captain for close to 4 years now. You guys are, I think, my 33rd batch, if I'm not wrong. And I just wrapped up my last batch just last week. This time I didn't have a break, so I'm back with a new batch with you guys this time. With me, you guys will be primarily learning everything about Instagram. Social media marketing is the subject that we're going to take a deep dive into, but specifically, we are going to be taking a look at Instagram marketing in my classes. You have separate YouTube classes and you have a separate LinkedIn class with very different captains. My expertise lies in Instagram marketing. My core profession is around Instagram marketing. So that is what I will be taking for you guys. My classes are going to be more in the interactive side of things because it's very difficult for me to just keep talking and not hear you guys' perspective, and also for you guys to start engaging and interacting in class. So please have your questions, or please participate in the classes as much as you can. And when I say participate, I don't necessarily mean you have to just ask questions. If you guys have your insights to share, something you observed on social media, that can also be interaction and participation in class. So please feel free to do all of that. It makes it easier for everyone else to grasp things better. And of course, shared experiences and shared observations make the classes much more fruitful for everyone involved. Okay, so typically how I take my classes is I complete small parts, and at the end of each part, I open the floor for any questions. So you guys can either have your hands raised as soon as you have a question, and I'll come back to it once I have completed the section, or you guys can drop it in the chat, and when I'm taking the questions during the class, I can take that and I will answer that. Okay, we're going to have a lot of activities in most of my classes because how I divide the classes is the first half is where I explain things, we discuss any questions, etc. And the second half of the class, I give you an activity pertaining to what we learned in the class that day. So that along with learning about certain topics, you also get to practice it right in the class itself. And then we discuss your answers. I share my inputs of whether that's working, that's not working, how can you make that better, etc. Okay. So that way, after every class, it's easier for you to have some practical knowledge also related to it. So you're not just, like mugging up things, you're actually also practicing things. Okay. Apart from that, I am a content creator myself. It's something that I started about 3.5 years ago. One, because I love content. Two, because I used to do a lot of content for brands when I was working with brands as well. I'd done a lot of video ads, etc. And it's something that was sort of like a side hobby. And eventually, I realized that to be a social media marketer or to be someone who leads a certain brand social media, while I can see what is trending, it's important for me to also know if I can replicate the same. And there's no better way to keep learning on the job than doing it yourself, right? A big part of today's social media hiring is related to if you are content creators of some sort yourself. And I don't mean to say you need to have certain number of followers or you need to have XYZ views on every reel, etc. It's purely coming from a place of, do you know how a reel is structured? Are you keeping in touch with whatever's trending on social media, and are you able to replicate it yourself? I don't mean that you will not get hired if you are not a content creator yourself, but it is a very big bonus point today if you are someone who knows content creation to some extent yourself. Whenever I hire for my team, and I currently am hiring for my team, one of the things that I'm looking for is someone who already has had some gigs around content creation, because it's always better to have someone who's closest to the field, and content creators are closest to the field. So that makes our lives easier when we are hiring. Okay. We have a PPT for the class that I'm going to project, and then I'll take you guys through some basics of social media today. We're not taking a deep dive into anything today because this is our introductory class, but I want you guys to start thinking like a social media person. I want you guys to know the basics of social media, and we'll watch a couple of ads also while we take today's class. And in general, I like to use ads as a medium to explain context and concepts. So that's also something that we are going to be doing a lot in my classes. And yeah, I look forward to having a very interactive batch this time. Okay. I'm not going to ask you guys to introduce yourself because while we have so many classes together, I think I'll pick your names and your faces as we progress. So we'll keep that for our classes. All right. So just give me a moment and I will just project myself. All right. There are many types of mentees in this batch, just like any other batch of mine. Some of you might be introverts, some of you might be extroverts, some of you might be people who want to have a job in social media, you want to get placed into the social media network. Some of you might be business owners yourself who want to grow your businesses on social media. Some of you might be content creators yourself who want to, grow your page. You could be freshers, you could be working professionals, you could be people who are in a different field but want to switch to social media as a field, etc. Right? So there are multiple kinds of people in this batch, just like any other batch. So we will be taking the sessions in that manner where we cover basics, while we also look at some tips and industry tricks that we follow for the brands that we work on. Okay. All right. Now, when we come to social media management, right, in the field of social media, there are multiple roles that are available. Sorry. Right? So there is a social media strategist, there is a social media account executive, there is a social media manager, there is a graphic designer, there is a motion graphics editor, and there is a copywriter. So to give you guys some context, in my own team, I have two social media managers, one at a senior level and one at one level under them. So there are two social media managers. There is one graphic designer. There are two videographers and video editors, and there is one ORM executive or someone who manages the online responses, which is basically commenting to customer responses in that we get via DMs or that we get via comments. Okay. So typically, between the two of my social media managers, one of them is in a senior role who is mostly managing the strategy part of things. The second social media manager is someone who's more like a senior account executive who's executing these strategies and ideas. The graphic designer is someone who's working on all the static and carousel creatives that go on my feeds. The videographers and video editors are people who shoot my reels, edit my reels, and give it to me for approval. And of course, there is a copywriter. It's a shared resource, a copywriter who comes up with the copies that goes on the social media content, the captions, etc. Okay, so that's typically how a social media team is structured. The junior most person is the account executive or the senior account executive. Then comes an assistant manager or a manager. And separately, there's a designer. The designer has a separate hierarchy of growth, just like a videographer. All of them report into the head of social media and content. And the head of social media and content reports to the head of marketing. So I report to the head of marketing at Mandala. That's typically how the structure is done. The graphic designers and videographers exclusively work on social media content. And from category to category, it depends. So, Vandala is a category that is very active on social media. So, we post about 5 to 7 times in a week. So, we need that much bandwidth, or we need people who are exclusively working on social media creatives to be able to pull off such large numbers of content that we are churning out week on week. Okay. There is again also someone known as a content creator. There is a social media strategist, video editor. Along with an executive, there's also script writers, production team, etc. Now, whenever I have to create a high production reel or a high production video, I work with a separate script writer. I also work with a different production house or a production team that manages the shoot end to end and gives me the final product in hand. For our day-to-day weekly reels, my in-house team works on it. For high budget campaigns or something that's more exclusive, we work with other production houses and other script writers to pull off something like that. Okay. Now, what does the industry want from social media marketers? Why is this industry so popular? Why is this industry growing at such a heavy rate? What is it that social media managers actually do, right? We bring the skills on the table. We bring the skill of talking about your brand in an organic and engaging manner that makes the other person want to purchase your brand. And trust me, that is not a skill to be taken lightly. It is a very difficult job to get someone to spend their hard earned money on your product. So, as social media managers, our number one job is to make the brands that we work for look so exciting and so interesting that people end up buying that product. And like I said, that is an extremely important and most difficult skill to have. What are the top three benefits of doing social media marketing? Why do brands do social media marketing? Why is it so important that every brand is talking about, I want to get these many followers on Instagram. I want to go viral. I want to create viral content. I want to work with the best influencers. Why are brands so crazy about social media? The top three reasons and the most important reasons, number one being it builds brand awareness, right? Now, this stands true for brands that are just starting out and also brands that have been established in the market, right? Um, for newer brands, we want more and more people to get to know about the brand. So the kind of content that we would be doing would be very to the face, right? We want to talk as much as we can. We want to give as much detail as we can about the product. Over time, when brands become a legacy brand, for example, a Cadbury or an ITC or a Tata, when brands become a legacy brand, we are aware about those brands, but we might not be aware about their newest updates or their newest products that they are launching. So even if it is a legacy brand, the brand still has to build awareness for its newer products, its updated products, and everything else that is new that it wants to communicate to its users. For example, Maggie. We all know Maggie. We all eat Maggie. We know what the pack looks like. Even if Maggie stops advertising to me tomorrow or to you tomorrow, you're still going to purchase Maggie and you're still going to consume Maggie. But when Maggie launched its new Maggie with double masala, it created a campaign around how for years, in fact, for decades, people have been asking Maggie to make the size of the masala packet bigger. And Maggie heard those responses and actually created a new product which has double masala, right? So even though we know Maggie, not all of us know that Maggie has this new product with double masala, right? Not all of us know that Maggie has newer flavors like Korean, etc., which was not there earlier, right? So even if you are a legacy brand, you have to keep building your awareness so that you don't drop out of your customers' mind. Number two, it drives customer engagement, right? The moment we launch something interesting, we want to hear from the customer if they like it or not. The moment we launch a brand, we want people to tell us, do they like our brand? Do they like our content? Do they like the kind of innovations that we are doing, right? Social media is one place where you can directly speak to your customers. This is not something that was possible earlier. But in the age of social media, it is very much easier and very much possible for you to directly hear from your target audiences what they want, what they like about your product, what they don't like about your product, what updates would they want about your products, etc., etc. And finally, social media helps you generate leads, right? A lead is not just someone who has purchased your product. A lead can also be an email ID, it can be a phone number, it can be which area your target audience belongs to, right? Any lead, any information about a possible customer becomes your lead. And social media plays a huge role in developing or accessing more and more leads for your brands that you are working on. Okay, we're going to take a deep dive into each of these things separately. Number one being brand awareness, right? Why do we need brand awareness? So that new audience discovers us, so that our existing audiences remembers us, so that we can build brand recall. The moment I say noodles, Maggie is the brand that comes to our mind. The moment I say chocolate, probably Cadbury or Dairy Milk is the brand that comes to your mind first. The moment I say detergent, maybe Surf Excel comes to your mind first. All of that is brand recall. You are recalling the brand by the product. The higher the brand recall, the better the brand awareness there is in the market. Similarly, why do we need customer engagement? So we build relationships with our audiences so that our audience feels like they are a part of the brand. It builds brand loyalty, right? The more I keep my customers engaged and interacted, the more loyal they would be to the products and the brand that I am trying to sell them. And finally, it is also to get feedback and to improve on things that are not working in our for our brand. In lead generation, why do we need lead generation? So that we get qualified inquiries in our DMs and comments, so that we get traffic or we get registrations on our website or we get app downloads for our apps that we are building. And it's also so that we get offline traffic, right? I might be a very popular brand with a very beautiful offline store, but I also need people online to purchase from my brand. That's where social media marketing comes in place over here, right? So these are the three buckets, or these are the three top reasons why any brand does or wants to do social media marketing, right? We're going to take a deep dive into brand awareness, but before we move into the theory part of it, there are two ads that I want to show you guys. It is an ad of the same product, but one ad is from the 90s and one ad is from the 2000s. We're going to watch both the ads back to back. You guys can watch it and write down your notes or just make a mental note of whatever you observed about both of those ads. And we'll have a short discussion after we have seen both the ads. Okay, so just give me a moment. Let me pull it out.
Sri Lakshmi, 1 minute. Before we move on to the ad, can you please show me the last part about generates leads, because I need to take down those points.
I'll come back to it. Don't worry. The PPT is not going anywhere.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. The quality of the 90s ad is a little low because obviously we did not have YouTube at that time. But you should be able to understand it. Okay. All right.
सिर्फ एनर्जी से काम नहीं चलता। आज जमाना है एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी का। 60-70% तो नॉर्मल है, जिसके 90% आए उसी में है कुछ एक्स्ट्रा। और जो हर स्पोर्ट्स में चैंपियन हो उसी में है एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी। कंप्यूटर्स के बारे में भी सब पता है, कभी कभी अपने डैड को भी सिखा लेता है एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी। और इस एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी के लिए है बॉर्नवीटा।
कैडबरीज बॉर्नवीटा में है प्रोटीन्स, विटामिन्स, मिनरल्स और कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स की एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी जो रखे एक कदम आगे।
Okay, so Bonvita is the brand. That's the first ad. Just give me a moment. This is a slightly longer ad, but of course better quality. You guys, some of you guys might have actually seen it.
मुश्किलें कभी पूछ के नहीं आती, और तब तक नहीं जाती जब तक हम उनसे सबक नहीं सीख लेते। तुम तैरना चाहते हो तो मैं भी वही चाहती हूँ। तुम्हारी जीत में मेरा हिस्सा है, तुम मुश्किलों में क्यों नहीं? तुम नहीं जानते कि तुमने जो सीखा है वो मैंने भी सीखा है, कि हिम्मत सिर्फ तब नहीं दिखाई जाती जब दिखाना आसान हो।
All right. Any thoughts? Any similarities, any differences that you noticed in both the ads?
The first thing that I saw was the packaging of the product, which was different in the 90s and they have changed it in 20s. Also, I have observed in 90s it was showing more into the family, like the work, I mean housewife, the mom was working from home, and in the 20s she was a working professional, and she also came along with her child to pursue his dreams. So that's my observation.
Okay, nice. Okay, anyone else?
It relates the product with emotions, with human emotions, like motherly emotion and all. And it ये हमें challenges accept करने के लिए भी एक इमोशन दे रहा है कि हम challenges accept करते हैं, हम कैसे
कर
कर
सकते हैं.
सकते हैं।
Okay, all right. What else?
In first ad in 90s, they specifically mentioned the energy word multiple time,
Yeah,
and in the 20s, the mom encouraging her child to
yeah.
uh, win the all things.
Okay, all right.
Maybe maybe
मैं
second में mom पे ज्यादा फोकस किया हुआ है encouraging करने के लिए.
हाँ. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
thanks.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
in
20,
the
there is the Tayyari Jeet ki slogan. There is
Yes,
a slogan Tayyari Jeet ki, and in 90s, there is more focused on energy.
yes, correct. Yes,
what I observed was, I think in the first ad, they just mentioned about the contents of the product or something like
yeah,
that. But
yes,
the second ad was more like there was a concept.
got it.
So there was a difference in the way they had advertised. I saw a change.
Got it. Yes, that's right. Anyone else?
Like the emotions.
The emotions. Yes, right. Now let's just take a step back. The product is the same, okay? We all know the product. We've seen it probably in our childhood. We've used it in our childhood as well. And now we are, we still know about the product. We might not be using the product still, but we know the product, right? The main point to keep in mind over here is the timing at which the ads were talked about, right? Now, the 90s ad comes in a space where Bonvita is still a new brand in the market. Not everybody knows about the brand, right? Which is why, if you notice in the first ad, they talk so much about the product, like extra energy, extra calcium, extra marks, etc. Right? So you have to remember that this was in a time period where milk is the most nutritious thing that mothers were giving their children, right? Traditionally in India, milk is given as is, without any additives in it. Bonvita, as a product coming into the market, was telling mothers to start using this new product, new powder into milk and feed it to their children, right? So, in order to convince the Indian mother to start using an additional product from the market into their child's most nutritious meal, the brand has to sell it heavily, right? The brand has to make sure you understand that if you feed your child this, he's going to get extra energy, he's going to get extra marks, he's going to get extra, whatever the extra things that they're mentioning, right? In the second hand, the 20s ad comes at a place where Bonvita is already an established brand in the market. The brand does not have to tell what is Bonvita anymore. A brand has to now evolve and show how Bonvita encourages their child. So the difference in the tonality is primarily because the brand's awareness levels were low in the 90s, whereas very high in the 2000s, right? That's the biggest difference you would notice. The second difference is the style of parenting itself. If there are any 90s kids, or if you know anything about the 90s kids, we are from a generation where parents were all about coming first. Academically, you have to come first. In sports, you have to come first. In extracurricular activities, you have to come first. Parenting mentality was like that in the 90s. Whereas in the 2000s, the style of parenting entirely changed. We moved on from making our children want to come first to making our children more confident, encouraging them to pursue their dreams, encouraging them to try things out without the motive of winning certain things. So, in the first ad, it's all about you will come first, your child is going to come first. In the second ad, we don't even know if the child won the race or not. Because as a brand, Bonvita is trying to tell you that it's all about supporting your children what they want to do, regardless of whether they win it or not. The biggest change is the style of parenting itself that has changed over the years. Now, in today's age, if Bonvita comes with an ad that says, if you drink Bonvita, your kid will get 100 on 100 or will come first in his race, parents are not going to accept that narrative because the style of parenting itself has changed over the years. So even though a brand has higher levels of awareness, brands like Bonvita has higher levels of awareness today, they have to reinvent their emotional connection. They have to reinvent how their brand stands relevant to today's generation of parents and not the generation of parents that existed in the 90s, right? It is every brand's job to keep up to date with what is happening with their target audiences. How has your target audience's emotional and personality behaviors changed over time? And you have to adapt your brand's language. You have to adapt your brand's content to keep up with the changing target audience personality traits. Does that make sense? Are you guys able to understand where the conversation is coming up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Okay. So keeping that in mind, now we come back to our PPT. Just give me a minute. Okay. Somebody wanted a screen grab of this sheet. I'm forgetting your name. Please take a screenshot and then I'll move ahead. Okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Moving ahead. So let's take a deep dive. Now that you have context about brand awareness, let's take a look at the theoretical parts of it. Why do we want to build brand awareness? So that newer audiences discovers us. So that existing audiences remembers us, right? Now, why does Cadbury every year launch an ad film around Raksha Bandhan, right? It's not that we don't know about Cadbury celebration pack, right? We ultimately, if we are going to visit someone, our first thought is going to be always buying a Cadbury celebrations pack. But even though there is high levels of awareness for a brand like Cadbury, every year for Raksha Bandhan they'll come up with this ad of a sibling, of a brother and a sister, where the brother gives the sister a Cadbury celebrations pack. The story and narrative would be different, but ultimately it's about the Cadbury celebrations pack ad that comes every year for Raksha Bandhan. Why does Cadbury do that? Because it wants to be at the top of mind recall of its audiences. We might not be forgetting Cadbury, but it wants to make sure that you do not forget that Cadbury celebrations as a pack exists. It's affordable, it comes in different varieties, it is something that is loved by all, and it's a gift that all sisters are going to enjoy, right? So that's why Cadbury every year comes up with a Raksha Bandhan ad. Every year for Valentine's Day, Cadbury does something new with its silk. When I was with LBB, I worked on three of their Valentine's campaigns. One was for Cadbury Oreo, then Cadbury Red Velvet, and then the third one was a new packaging of Cadbury for Valentine's Day. Why do they do that? Because they know that during Valentine's Day, chocolates are the most bought item. So every year for Cadbury Silk, which is their product for young couples, they come up with some innovation around either the flavor or the packaging of the product so that it stays relevant, so that your audiences remembers that, okay, for this year's Valentine's Day, this is what I'm going to get for my girlfriend, or this is what I'm going to get for my boyfriend, right? That's how you keep building brand recall. Just because everyone knows a dairy milk, it doesn't mean that Cadbury will stop promoting dairy milk, right? So you have to keep coming up with innovative ideas, unique ideas, so that you still remain relevant for your audiences. How do you reach new audiences? On social media, you can use trending reels, you can use trending sounds, because Instagram pushes this to more non-followers. Now, please, at the screen, don't get overwhelmed by looking at the screen, and don't get overwhelmed by me just rushing through it. Each of these points are separately going to be discussed in different classes, but this is just to give you an overview. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed by it. I'm just rushing through only because this is just to get you introduced to it. Detailed discussions would happen around this in our upcoming classes. Okay, so you can leverage hashtags and SEO. You can collaborate with different kinds of influencers and other brands also. You can run targeted ads via performance marketing. And you can obviously engage outside of your page. So you can reply to your comments, you can reply to people who are mentioning your brand on their content, etc. All of these things build brand awareness, right? Just a bit on trending audio. We'll get to it when we discuss audios in depth. Okay, now you guys tell me, to be a successful social media manager, you should be, fill in the blanks for me. To be successful on social media, be
Creative.
creative, okay,
Active.
Relevant.
okay, interesting,
Consistent.
yes.
Engaging.
Engaging,
The trend.
Be consistent.
consistent, very important.
Replying to the comments.
Yeah, but that's a very small part of it. Of course, that's important, but to be successful, that's not a bigger point. I'm looking for bigger adjectives, like yes, creativity, creative, consistent,
Being with
etc.
the trend.
Consistency, yes.
Being with the trend.
Yeah,
Knowledge,
innovative. Yeah.
knowledgeable,
Knowledgeable, yes. You should know what is happening on social media. Yes.
Trending.
Relate.
Yes.
You need to be relatable to the content.
Be relatable, absolutely. You need to be relatable from a content perspective. Absolutely.
Competitive.
Competitive. Yes.
updated,
And talk about the particular niche
Yes.
only.
Sorry?
Talk about the particular niche, means whatever niche.
Yeah, you should have a niche expertise. Yes.
A trendsetter. To create.
Trendsetter. Nice. Good one. Nice one. Right. So you guys get the gist, right? All of these things put together make a social media manager. It's just that you have to do it every day. So when you say you have to be creative, it's not once in a while creative. Every day you have to show up creative. Every day you have to show up consistent. It sounds like a tedious job for somebody who's not interested in it, but people who are really interested in social media, of course, find it very exciting. Okay. Now we move on to customer engagement, right? Why do we need customer engagement? We discuss these points so that we build relationships, we build brand loyalty, to get feedback and improvement points, right? So how do we do customer engagement, right? How do we build relationships with the audiences? By liking their comments, by replying to their comments, by replying to the DMs that you get, by commenting on their posts where they have tagged your brand, right? These all might seem very, very small. Like you might think, oh, just replying to a comment can't make me so popular on Instagram. Trust me, the best brands out there are replying to the silliest of comments, are commenting on the silliest of content that is created by tagging your brands, etc. And it goes a long, long way in building and strengthening your overall engagement, your overall customer engagement. How do we
Like
make the
Anand Mahindra.
audience be a part of, sorry?
Like Anand Mahindra.
Like Anand Mahindra, yes, a very good example. Even Ratan Tata, for that example, for that matter, is a very good example of how to keep your audiences engaged with you so that you feel an emotional connection with your audiences. How do we make the audience feel a part of our community? We repost their tags and their mentions. We tag them in our content, or we do a collab with them. We send them personalized communication from time to time. We create a sense of community through marketing campaigns or offers, right? And there are many avenues for that. For example, at Wandala, we get tagged on at least 100 reels on a daily basis. Of course, it's not possible for us to like or reply to all of that, but some of the best content is reposted on our stories. Sometimes really good content we repost on our feed, tagging the person who made that reel, right? All of these things give our audiences the confidence that tomorrow if they come up with something interesting, some interesting content, Pandala might reshare their content, right? We do collabs with certain amazing content that we are tagged on. We send personalized WhatsApp messages from time to time. We have a broadcast channel where we exclusively post about offers. So people who are always looking for Wandala offers have joined our broadcast community and they are up to date with whatever offers we are running, right? All of these things make our audiences feel like they are a part of the brand. How do we build brand loyalty? We consistently keep doing the above activities, it will automatically build brand loyalty. So, of course, if we keep our audiences engaged, plus if we keep consistently coming up with quality products, we do build brand loyalty. Brand loyalty is not something that is built overnight. It's not even something that built over a few years. It takes decades for someone to be loyal to your brand to an extent that they will not buy your competitors at all. They will not even consider your competitors, even in the worst case scenario. That is the level of brand loyalty that brands want to be able to achieve. And finally, how do we get feedback and improvement points? We check our content data. So sometimes, a lot of times, the DMs that we understand what the audience is liking versus what the audience is not liking. And all of these improvement points or feedback points actually also end up becoming your content. I'll give you an example. We open our Mandala parks across all cities only after 11 a.m. Okay. So we get a lot of comments, we get a lot of DMs where people say, why can't you open the parks earlier? Please open the park earlier than 11 a.m. So that we can enjoy more at the amusement park. So we have it's not gone live yet, but we have created a reel where we actually show what happens before 11 a.m. at the park. So wherein we are showing all the safety checks that happen with every ride, the water quality that is checked and maintained at our parks, what our heroes at the back end, how much they work hard to ensure that the water is clean, the rides are checked, everything is hygienic, the food is prepared on time, etc. So we are doing this reel to tell people that there is a lot of work that goes behind the scenes before they enter an amusement park like Wonderla and enjoy their days at an amusement park, right? This idea of this reel actually came from all the comments that we had been getting, right? So when you get feedback and when you get these comments from your audiences, content ideas come to you very easily. You would be able to reply to those DMs or on those comments in a very fun and engaging manner. So that's the best part about keeping your customers engaged. I'll tell you the other benefit of having a customer engaged, right? Whenever you announce a sale, for example, we had announced that our early bird offer for our Black Friday sale will go live at XX day on at 3 p.m. And sharp at 3 p.m., people started coming onto our website because they made a note of the Black Friday sale notification. They engaged with us. Some of them even commented saying your previous sale had more discount than this sale, or this sale is not applicable in the other cities. Can you please make it that way? People were constantly giving us feedback or even thanking us for giving out big offers and big discounts. So that is the power of building a strong social media wherein people themselves give you engagement from their end without you having to ask them for it. Any questions related to customer engagement? Anything that you guys want to share also?
Not really. Yeah.
Okay, going ahead. Okay. So for existing customers, we check who has tagged us in our stories. We like their posts, we comment on their posts, and we try to engage as much as we can because the other person should feel acknowledged. A lot of times we see that if we like a post, the person would put up a story tagging us saying, hey, Vandala liked our reel. Similar was the case with Redbus also when we used to do some certain campaigns around Valentine's Day, etc. We used to, people used to tag us on their content all the time to build engagement, right? So customer engagement actually goes a long, long way building the overall engagement of your page as well. Now, finally, we come to something called lead generation. Like I said, a lead is not just someone who has spent their money and purchased your product. A lead is also an email ID because if you have a potential audience's email ID, you can send them regular updates on their emails. So if you're launching a new product or if you are, you're pre-booking for certain products are available, you can you can give out an early notification to people whose email IDs you have. The email ID is actually a currency for you, right? Because you can use it. It becomes helpful for you. Similarly, a phone number is a lead. The more phone numbers you have, the more people you have to whom you can send SMSs, WhatsApp messages, or even app notifications if you are an app in that case, right? So you have a constant medium of communication available with your audiences. So whenever you are running a new offer, you're giving out a new discount, you're launching a new product, any announcements that you have, whenever you need to do something like that, you already have email IDs and phone numbers. These are all your potential consumers, your target audiences to whom you can keep communicating and ensure that they know every little big update that you have to give from your brand's end. And of course, like I said, it also helps you build offline traffic as well. Right now, how do we do lead management? A lot of your leads come on your DMs. It would be people who are asking for the price or people who are asking some questions related to the brand. Like when I was with Redbus, we used to get a lot of DMs that said, "Is there is a long weekend coming up in March? Are there any specific offers that you're running?" It used to be literally something like that. Or someone would say, "I'm going to Wayanad for 3 days. Do you have an itinerary that I can use?" Multiple things. At Wonderla, people ask us, "My birthday is coming up. Is there any offer that I can use?" Or someone would say, "We are a big corporate group of 100 people. Can we get some exclusive discounts? Who can we connect with?" So a lot of our leads actually come in on our DMs and in our comments. Not just that, sometimes brands write us emails or brands send us DMs wanting to collaborate with us. Influencers send us a lot of DMs because they want to collaborate with us in return for some free park tickets, etc. Right? So you make sure that you're replying to everything and you please make sure that you're replying fast. If someone is saying, I want to buy your product tonight, if you reply to them 2 days later, they might have already made their purchase decision and maybe bought something else, something from your competitor and not from you. Which is why in online response management, being as quick as possible becomes extremely important. Put in a proper category. What is your niche? Are you a skincare product? Are you a travel product? Are you a travel service? Are you a fashion product? What is your niche? Make that very, very clear in your bio, right? Take follow-ups and send reminders. So if an influencer reached out to you for a collab, you sent all the details, but you did not hear from them after that. All you have to do is send them a message saying, "Hey, just checking in. Would you like to continue with this conversation? Or is there anything else I can do to help you with your query?" Right? So something to close the loop, send reminders, or just follow up and see if people are still interested in your brand or not. All of those things come under the category of lead management. Any questions that you guys have so far?
Not from my side.
All right, so we'll move ahead. Now, how can you be the best social media team member, right? Now, this is coming from also a personal perspective because, like I said, I manage a team, and even when I'm looking to hire, there are certain qualities that I look for in a social media manager that is slightly away from just the skills that they bring to the team. Okay, so let's see the types of team members that we can have. One type is where I say that, hey, you have to do task A, B, and D. So they'll tell me, okay, give me the I say, okay, give me the report. So the member then would say probably something like, ma'am, A and B is done. D is something मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. How can I do D? I don't know how to do the task D. Okay, that's one type of a team member. Then there is another type of a team member who will say, hi, I have completed task A and B. I did not understand the task D, so I tried 2, 3 other ways to do it. I think this one works the best, but I have a slight doubt. Can you help me with that? Right? So this is a person who does not know how to do task D, but instead of coming to me directly for help from the beginning, this person has tried 2, 3 variations of solution and then is coming to me for doubts related to some solutions that this person has come up with. Okay, so that's the second type of team member that I have. The third type of team member that you can have in social media is someone who says, task A and B is done. I did not understand B so much, but I figured it out somehow and completed the task. I also noticed that you missed giving me the task C, and it made sense for me to do C so that A, B, C, D are completely done in a good manner. So I have completed task C2. Now, this is the kind of team member who has understood a gap, who did not know a certain task, but rather than sitting on it and crying about not knowing what to do, this person has tried to figure things out themselves and also figured the missing task in between that brings all of this together. This is the kind of team member that we are generally looking to work with in social media. Someone who is proactive, someone who wants to look for solutions themselves rather than relying on or rather than crying about not knowing what to do about certain tasks. They try to figure their way out around it. That is the kind of social media team members that we are currently trying to hire in the industry. Okay, so a great team member in social media would be someone who takes self-initiative, someone who does proactive communication for difficulties or solutions, right? So sometimes, you can see a problem coming. Sometimes you can see, you have an intuition that, hey, if we post this, we might get negative reaction on social media. If we don't post this, people might call us out. So we need someone who can understand the audience sentiments like that. We want someone who takes ownership and accountability for their role and brand, someone who's looking to find opportunities to improve the results for their brands, right? So tries to look at new features that we as a brand can use, finds opportunities to improve brand awareness, customer engagement, and leads. Someone who suggests new ideas to try, someone who catches trends very quickly, someone who understands and points out gaps in the current system, someone who checks competitors to find insights, someone who uses a lot of common sense every day to be solution oriented, right? These are all the features, not features, these are all the personality traits that we look for in a good social media manager or a social media executive when we are looking to hire. Your role as a social media executive. So, what is it that you're going to be doing as a social media executive, right? You're going to manage all postings, which means whatever you decide as the posting frequency per week, you ensure that all of those posts go live on time. All of those posts go at the time that you wanted to go live on. You manage social media engagement. You do all the reporting for social media. You regularly check your comments and your DMs. You shoot, document, and assistance. So you shoot, document, and shoot, edit assist, right? So you're someone who assists while a content is being shot, while a content is being edited. You help in the approval process, etc. You are someone who knows about influencer marketing. So you are scouting for newer influencers. You're someone who's good at reporting. So social media reporting on a monthly basis, influencer reporting after every campaign is done, etc. Ideator, profile management. That's a typo. So someone who looks, our social media page is essentially like a person or a people, right? So we want to manage all of it end to end. We want to ensure that the kind of language that we use, the kind of visuals that we use, etc., are all managed well, are all looking good. Our page is visually aesthetic. Our page, the language that we use is something that is easy to understand. So someone who does the overall profile management also really well. Yes, Mayam. Go ahead, go ahead.
मैम जो ये सभी आपने क्वालिटीज बताई है
हाँ,
मैम, अगर ये सभी कुछ अगर एक ही व्यक्ति कर लेगा
हाँ,
तो वो अपनी ही कंपनी नहीं ओपन कर लेगा?
नहीं, अपनी सोशल मीडिया करने से
मतलब शूट
कंपनी थोड़ी
डॉक्यूमेंट्स,
खुल।
मतलब डॉक्यूमेंटेशन अगर शूट करना है या उसको एडिट करना है तो वो तो स्पेसिफिक वीडियो एडिटर और इनका वर्क होता है ना? दैट इज
आप
नॉट।
शूट असिस्टेंस में और शूटिंग में डिफरेंस है. शूट असिस्टेंस मीन्स यू असिस्ट समवन व्हाइल दे आर शूटिंग. इट डजंट मीन you are shooting. Edit
ओके
assist means you're assisting someone in editing the reel. So that doesn't mean you're sitting and editing with them. As a social media manager, I have a certain view of how my reel should look like, right? So I'll tell my videographer that, hey, use this in the introduction. Put this text in the introduction. Edit this with this music. Put this sound effect over here. That is edit assist. I'm not editing the reel, but I'm
ओके
assisting in the way the edit is coming out.
ओके, बट अगेन जो एक्सपीरियंस उनका है उस फील्ड के अंदर,
हाँ.
क्या हम एज अ न्यू कमर इन डिजिटल मार्केटिंग, क्या वी आर एलिजिबल टू
Of
गिव
course.
हिम सजेशन और समथिंग?
Absolutely, you would be surprised that a lot of times, see, a videographer knows how to shoot, okay? But as a social media manager, you will have a reference of how the video should look like. So tomorrow, if I'm going to my editor and saying, I want to do a reel on how couples can celebrate Valentine's Day at Wonderla, that person might have a certain style of or certain view of how he's going to shoot. But as a social media manager, I need to know what my reference is. How am I imagining the reel, right? What all do I want to show in the reel? Do I want to show a couple on the rides? I want to show a couple having dinner. What is the narrative or what is the flow of the video? That is given by a social media manager. That is not of course, in association with your videographer and editor. But that is not simply, you don't just give an idea to a videographer and he shoots it and comes. No, that's not how it works. You give him an idea, you also give him a flow of how you're imagining the video so that that person shoots it exactly like that and gives you an edit like the way you want that edit.
ओके, थैंक यू। एंड प्लीज एक बार और आप ये वाला रिपीट कर देंगे क्या? इन्फ्लुएंसर स्काउटिंग क्या होता
Scout,
है? स्काउटिंग मैं नहीं समझ पा रहा हूँ, क्या इन्फ्लुएंसर को ढूंढना, इसको
yes.
स्काउटिंग
Scouting,
बोलते हैं?
yes. Scouting मतलब ढूंढना, like searching, right? तो
ओके
हर एक कैंपेन में आपका अलग अलग requirements होंगे, right? Now, for example, for Valentine's Day, the requirement is for couple influencers. Similarly, for Mother's Day, the requirement could be mom influencers. For Father's Day, it could be dads who are influencers. For something related to college students, you want college-going content creators to be collaborative with you, right? So for every campaign, you should be someone who can search for the best influencers in the given budget that you have. That is what is influencer scouting.
ओके, थैंक यू। एंड व्हाट अबाउट दिस आइडिया गेटर?
Ideator profile management is basically managing the overall profile of the brand on social media, how it looks, what kind of content goes up, visually, is it aesthetic, all of those things.
थैंक यू सो मच।
No worries. Somebody else also had their hand raised. No? Okay, then I'm going to move ahead. Okay, yeah, so that's the wrap up into our PPT. If there are no questions or anything else, I would like to just show you a couple more things just to get you in, just to get your mind started into social media. Anything else? Any questions? Okay, so we just
आई एम सॉरी फॉर इंटरप्टिंग, एक्चुअली मैंने मीटिंग
no
लेट से
worries.
लिंक किया था, तो क्या हमें भी क्विक रिकैप मिल सकता है क्या लास्ट 5 मिनट्स में कि क्या क्या हुआ?
You'll have to watch the recording. It will be a time waste for the rest of us, na? So जब the recording comes to you, you can have a look at that.
Yes,
And
yes,
if you have questions after that, in my next class, I'm happy.
ओके, थैंक यू।
Okay? Awesome. All right. So it's also just an introductory class, so don't worry that you have lost too much. It's just basics that we have brushed on. So don't worry, you've not missed out on anything majorly. We're going to discuss all of it in detail in our coming up classes also. So don't worry. Don't worry too much.
Ma'am,
Yes.
myself is Nasir.
Yes.
I have a doubt. I don't know how to create a profile on Instagram.
Okay.
Even I'm still using this one, but I want the proper way of creating
Starting an
this
Instagram
profile.
page.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All
one
right.
more thing, what about the client? How we can maintain profile, that also in later on classes.
Yeah, that is
Customer
something in the
profile.
later on classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Thank
don't
you.
usually have a section on how to create your Instagram page, but maybe in the start of the next class, I can take 5-10 minutes to just show you through the process.
Oh, okay. Basic settings, so do that. Okay.
No worries.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. So, in order to be able to come up with content, you have to start thinking like a brand. Okay. This is a personality trait. No, not a personality trait. This is a skill that many people who are entering social media don't have, but this is a skill that we look for, right? You have to start thinking like a brand. Right now, when you're opening your Instagram or YouTube, when you're scrolling through content, you are a viewer there. You're viewing content, you like something, you laugh with about it, you share it with someone, etc. Right? But social media managers don't function that way. Every piece of content that we watch on social media is a potential idea for us. So a lot of times, so all of me and my team, we have this Instagram group for content reference. So whenever we come up with something interesting that other brands are doing, we share it on the group and we try to see if we can recreate it for our brand, right? So it's a lot of like looking at content from a brand perspective. So when you see a piece of content that a brand has posted, you ask yourself, is this interesting? Can I do something like this for my brand? What could be the intention of the brand behind doing a content like this, etc., etc. So when you start looking at content from a question perspective, that's when you are starting to think like a brand person. This is an extremely important skill because you are scrolling thousands of reels on a weekly basis. But if you're not able to catch a trending reel, or if you're not able to notice a trend that might be going viral and replicating it for your own brand, you're actually losing out on potential viral content that is currently running around on social media, right? So you need to have an eye to detail. You need to have an eye for trending content, viral content that's happening around you. And of course, you need to start looking at content from a brand perspective. So to get you guys started on it, there are a bunch of ads that I just want to show you guys to see how the brands have positioned themselves or how brands have used certain context. This will help you understand the psychology behind ads as well. Yes, Mayank, you have a question?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I just want to know कि हम किस तरह से ट्रेंड समझ सकते हैं या क्या ऐसे तरीके हैं जहाँ पे कि हम लोग ये समझ पाए, क्योंकि मैम रील्स डेली बेसिस पे आ रही है एंड हम जो रील्स हमारे सामने आ रही है वो हम लोग डेली स्क्रॉल कर रहे हैं, उसके बेसिस पे आ रही है.
हाँ.
सो व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस कि जहाँ पे जो ट्रेंडिंग है जो या जो मार्केट में नया चल रहा है वो चीज हम समझ पाए कि नहीं ये चीज ट्रेंडिंग में चल रही है, ये एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट आया मार्केट में.
The best way to know about what's trending is to spend as much time as you can on social media, right? It's the one field in which you can be on your phone all day and nobody's going to come and complain to you because it's your job to be on your phone all day, right? The best way to know what's trending is, like I said, be on social media as much as you can. Keep scrolling and seeing what are other people, what are other brands posting, what are other people posting. So after a point, you will realize, of course, each of our feeds also look very different based on our personal preferences. But in most feeds, at any given point, there'll be something that is viral that is appearing on all our feeds. It could be a trending audio, it could be a trending dance step, it could be a trending dialogue, right? It could be anything. But there is a point where the same content, regardless of how different your feed is from my feed, that viral content is actually trending on your feed also and my feed also. The only way to catch on these things is when you're spending time. So when you're scrolling so much of your day on Instagram, when you're actively looking for content on Instagram, your mind will automatically catch on something that has the potential to go viral. You'll automatically think of, okay, you know what, let me quickly do something related to this. I'll give you an example. Last week, last on about 7 to 10 days ago, there is this penguin reel that was going very viral. It's actually a documentary excerpt from an documentary that about a penguin who strayed away from its herd and went towards the mountains, right? Very few brands immediately caught that trend. When you see so much of a penguin content, so I did not see any branded content, but I saw a lot of people post about that penguin. I saw a lot of people reshare the penguin reel content on their reel, and that's where I had the idea that, okay, you know what, this might go viral, or oh, this is something that is that is relatable to people. So can we do something like that for Wonderla? So we actually did a reel around the penguin thing for Wonderla. I'll just show you also for reference. And that reel did really well. Like people really enjoyed it and people commented on it heavily. People shared it heavily. Right. So it's all about observing what are people sharing on their stories? What are people sharing with their friends? What are people commenting on content? And then it's like a switch that goes on in your mind that, hey, maybe I can do something for my brand like that. The only way to do that is when you are chronically online. And I mean it. Like you have to be online at least 70% of your time to be able to catch all these trends. And of course, you can always Google what is trending right now, and you can go on Twitter and see what's trending right now. But the best way to have that audience insight is to be an audience on social media, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I spoke about it, I'll just show you guys the reel also that we had posted. Just give me a minute.
अभी मैम एक्चुअली एक और चीज अभी ट्रेंडिंग पे चल रही थी, लाइक वो बच्चे का क्रिस का गाना सुनोगे?
हाँ हाँ, यस।
सो एंड पेंगुइन वाला अभी एक हमारे इधर पे रेस्टोरेंट है, सो
हम्म।
उन्होंने उसको यूज किया था। लाइक उन्होंने रेस्टोरेंट पे एक पेंगुइन दिखाया था जो छोले भटूरे खा रहा था, एंड वो कह रहे थे कि ये पेंगुइन वहां से चल के यहाँ पे आ गया है, यहाँ पे ये खा रहा है, एंड आप लोग भी आइए। सो दिस
Yes,
काइंड ऑफ अ रील उन्होंने बनाया था, तो
yes,
काफी अच्छा था वो।
correct, correct. So and you have to get on it as quickly as you can. You can't wait for it. You have to immediately do some content around it for it to do well.
Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. But why? To come here to Wonderla. Shortly after.
Very basic AI edited video. We quickly made this and posted it, but people really appreciated it in the comments. It has some 3,000, 2,000 shares also, I think. That's how much people have loved that reel, right? So it's all about like in the moment catching the trend and going live with things. Right.
थैंक यू
Anyone else?
मैम।
No worries. Anybody else? Let me just checking the. Okay. All right. So I'll show you again. For this, I think we use Higgs field for this video, if I'm not wrong. Or maybe free pick. I think we just generated the penguin and just created the reel out of it. It could be either of those things. Okay, awesome. So traditionally, give me a moment. Let me just pull out that, then we'll see it. So Ariel, okay, just to give you context, in the 90s, whenever there was a detergent ad, it would always be a woman. Okay, because why? Because the woman of the family is the person who washes the clothes, right? For many, many years and decades, and all through my childhood years, every ad that I saw, be it a Tide, Surf Excel, or whatever detergent brand, a Ghadi, all of that, I would always see the woman is the one who's washing the clothes, and it's the man whose shirt is being washed. Okay. Ariel, a few decades ago, Ariel had done this campaign called Share the Load. Okay, I'll just play the video, the ad first, and then we will do the discussion for it. Okay. Give me a minute. Slightly long, but Hold on.
नाना ये देखो, शील्ड, लेग, हेलमेट। होमवर्क हो गया? मम्मी ये देखो, फिर दाग लगा दिया। पापा ये लीजिए आपके घर जाने की टिकट। हेलो, या आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू सेंड यू द ईमेल इन 5 मिनट्स। या गिव मी 5 मिनट्स, आई एम वर्किंग ऑन द प्रेजेंट।
मेरी छोटी सी गुड़िया कितनी बड़ी हो गई, घर घर खेलती थी, अब घर संभालती है, ऑफिस संभालती है। आई एम सो प्राउड एंड आई एम सो सॉरी। सॉरी कि ये सब तुम्हें अकेले करना पड़ता है। सॉरी कि जब तुम घर घर खेलती थी तो मैंने तुम्हें रोका नहीं। ये नहीं कहा कि ये सिर्फ तुम्हारा काम नहीं है, तुम्हारे हस्बैंड का भी है, पर कहता भी कैसे है।
और मेरी ग्रीन शर्ट धो देना।
मैंने भी तो कभी तुम्हारी मम्मी की हेल्प नहीं की, और तुमने जो देखा वही सीखा। तुम्हारे हस्बैंड ने भी बचपन में यही देखा होगा, घर घर खेलते वक्त वो टीवी देखने की या न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ने की एक्टिंग करता होगा, और तुम जैसी कोई छोटी सी लड़की चाय बनाने की एक्टिंग करती होगी। उसके डैड की तरफ से सॉरी, तुम्हारे डैड की तरफ से सॉरी, और हर उस डैड की तरफ से सॉरी जिसने कई कई सालों से एक गलत एग्जाम्पल सेट किया है। पर अभी भी देर नहीं हुई। इस सॉरी के साथ मैं अपनी तरफ से एक छोटी सी कोशिश करूंगा कि घर के काम में मम्मी की हेल्प करूं। किचन का किंग ना बन पाऊं तो कम से कम लॉन्ड्री में तो हाथ बटाऊं। इतने साल एक गलत एग्जाम्पल सेट किया है, अब कुछ सही कर जाऊं। तुम्हारा पापा।
Any thoughts?
मैम दिस इज समथिंग जहाँ पे कि जो थॉट जो उन्होंने दिया है वो काफी बहुत ज्यादा डेंजरस टाइप का है कई लोगों के लिए, जो टिपिकल मेल ईगो जो है उस पे हिट किया गया है ये। एंड आई थिंक दिस इज गुड, बिकॉज व्हाई शुड बॉयज ऑफ ऑल द फन। सो हाँ, आई थिंक मतलब जब हम बराबरी की बातें करते हैं तो बराबरी होनी भी चाहिए। एंड मुझे तो बहुत अच्छा सोशल मैसेज भी ये लगा।
Correct, right? Yes, Nehal. You're saying something? Okay, no, I guess. Okay, anyone else?
Yes, sorry. It was my network issue. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more relatable because जो ad दिखाया है उसमें which is day to day life में जो भी examples है that they have shown there. So it's more relatable to the normal person who, or the normal lady who is working at the home. And as said by the Mayank, it
Correct, right? Okay. Anyone else?
I think none of the
नेगेटिव भी एक आता है, लेकिन particularly if we go for
Nehal, sorry, your voice is breaking a little. I think someone else was talking.
Hello.
Yes. So I was saying also none of the detergent competitor have thought of doing such ad. It is something different that Ariel has picked up to correct few things that was happening in the past and showing it through a very beautiful message. So that
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, thanks for sharing. Suchit, you were saying something?
हाँ, मुझे लगता है कि अभी जो नया ट्रेंड चला है जिसमें एक कल्चर है कि मेन के साथ साथ वुमेन्स भी जॉब करने लगे हैं, तो उस कल्चर को पकड़ने की कोशिश की गई है कि जैसे अगर वुमेन जॉब में हेल्प कर रही है तो मेंस ने भी घर के काम में हेल्प करना चाहिए।
Correct. Right? Now, again, this is coming back to the example of the Bonvita ads that we watched, right? Product same hai, right? We are not selling something new. It's not a different brand, but we are upgrading ourselves according to the conversations that are happening around, right? This ad has come in a time period where women started stepping out of their homes for jobs separately. But it also comes from an era where women not only started going out professionally, but they still had to manage the housework all by themselves. A lot of our moms have had the same story, right? So at that point in time, Ariel, which is a detergent brand, a product that for decades has only been sold to mothers or women in the family because it is taken for granted that only a woman does laundry in the house, took a very different narrative of sharing the load, right? Took a very different narrative to laundry or who does the laundry in homes itself, right? It was a very viral campaign of Ariel, which is Share the Load. There are two, three more ads also under Share the Load that Ariel had done. This is one of the first ones, and it really struck a chord. People started talking about it, and of course, it put Ariel at a certain level, at a certain standard, and people started appreciating it, right? So creating content is not just selling your product; it is selling an emotion. It is selling a concept to your target audiences. It is telling your target audiences that, hey, I understand you. I understand your pain points and I understand and I have a solution for you as a brand, right? So only up till a point can you keep saying, buy my brand, purchase my brand, or I'm selling my brand. After a point, you have to build an emotional relationship with your target audiences. There is another detergent or another soap brand that has done a very different kind of a campaign that again went supremely viral. I'm sure most of you all have seen the ads that under that tagline. I'm just going to play that also once here. Give me a minute. Just give me a moment.
या अल्लाह, आज सलीम का पहला रोजा कबूल फरमा और इसे सलामती अता कर। आमीन।
समीना।
जी जी, सारी 15 मिनट में तैयार हो जाए।
दुआ है एक जरिया जिससे सुनता सबकी खुदा, दुआ है एक जरिया जिससे सुनता सबकी खुदा, नेमतें बरसाता वो, रहमतें बरसाता वो ना तुझसे जुदा, दुआ है एक जरिया जिससे सुनता सबकी खुदा, दुआ है एक जरिया।
अरे बेटा।
सलीम, आदिल, तुम इलाज के लिए जा रहे हो ना? मेरी सलामती की दुआ। मगर ये तुम रख लो। आमीन।
मुझसे पहले तू, मुझसे पहले तू, मेरी दुआ में रखा है तुझको ही रूबरू, दुआ है एक जरिया।
इज़हार के इजहार में अगर दाग लग जाए तो दाग तो अच्छे हैं, सर्फ एक्सेल, दाग तो अच्छे हैं।
Okay, this is the most updated ad. There is one more in their series. Just a minute, let me just pull out that also for context. Yeah. This is a very, very old ad, and it's the first ad under Daag Achhe Hain that Surf Excel had done. Just want to show you that also, please.
Number 1 is very big. Number 2 is भैया, एक मिनट। देख क्या रे, तूने मारा इसको? तू जवाब भी दे। देखता हूँ मारता है अभी ये ले ये भी सॉरी बोल सॉरी बोल रहे।
दाग लगने से अगर कुछ अच्छा होता है तो दाग अच्छे हैं ना। सर्फ एक्सेल, दाग अच्छे हैं।
वापस नहीं करना।
Some of you might remember this ad actually. Yes, any thoughts?
Very beautifully connected.
Very beautifully connected, yes.
मैम दोनों एड्स में ना इमोशंस यूज किया हुआ है एंड मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जितने भी एड्स आपने देखा है मैंने अभी जस्ट ये चीज मैं नोटिस कर रहा हूँ कि जो भी एड्स हम देखते हैं उसमें जो मदरली इमोशन एंड फादरली इमोशन ब्रदर सिस्टरहुड ये जो इमोशंस जब हम लोग कनेक्ट करते हैं अपने प्रोडक्ट के साथ सो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो प्रोडक्ट एकदम से बूम करता है। तो ये एक अच्छी बात है कि अगर मैं कभी अपना प्रोडक्ट कोई लॉन्च करूंगा तो मैं ज़रूर दोनों तीनों इमोशंस मिक्स करने वाला हूँ वहाँ पे। एंड अगेन जो एक मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि फ्रेंडलीहुड वाला जो इमोशन जो हमने लेटेस्ट वाला जो एक देखा उससे कई ज़्यादा कनेक्ट किया है वो ब्रदर सिस्टर वाला। सो समहाउ मुझे वो वही वाला ज़्यादा अच्छा लगा। एंड हाँ कुछ दाग अच्छे हैं वो हमेशा मतलब वो जो एक टैगलाइन है वो काफ़ी अच्छी है।
दाग अच्छे हैं,
तो
yes.
उसको वो चीज वो
मैम
फॉलो करके चल रहा है कि हमें इसको नहीं छोड़ना क्योंकि इसी ने सर्फ एक्सेल को थोड़ा सा एक न्यू किक स्टार्ट दिया था।
हाँ, yes, correct.
दिस इज
द
माय
एड विच यू शोड फर्स्ट, जो एड पहले दिखाया था ना वो
Yeah,
उसमें
yeah.
लास्ट एक लिखा था ईद मुबारक जैसा, लाइक दे आर फोकसिंग लाइक मुस्लिम फेस्टिवल। आई थिंक इट इज एन occasional ad, they have focused at the Ramzan time like that
Yeah, yes,
to
that also.
connect to
Yes,
the people,
yes,
might be. Yeah.
yes, right. Anyone else? This was a very viral campaign by Surf
Ma'am,
Excel.
in this they haven't showed any price and everything, anything.
हाँ, वो
Uh,
usually हम ads
because
में नहीं दिखाते हैं. We don't show the prices in an ad. Which ad have you seen? I mean, unless there is a discount or they are heavily
previously
discounting
we
or
used to
something.
see all the prices only, but at presently they are making with the emotions instead of
No,
price.
unless there is a heavy discount where they say ki now it is at a 50% off or now under rupees just for rupees 99. Other
Yeah,
than that,
before.
brands would never show the prices because that's not the idea, right? We want to build an emotional connection. इतना emotion build करने के बाद अगर आप last में बोलोगे that buy it for rupees 299,
It won't.
it's
Yeah,
a disconnect. We don't
yes.
want to see that as an audience, right? That's the
Mhm.
reason. Daag Achhe Hain was a very popular award-winning campaign that Pixel had done, where a brand went out there and said कि दाग अच्छे हैं, that go get your clothes dirty. My product is so good that it will clean your clothes so well. You will not even remember that it was dirtied or it was soiled, right? A very beautiful, heartwarming campaign. And like Mayank was saying, it's all about building an emotional connection with your audiences. I'm telling you again, when you are trying to create content for a brand, you are not selling the brand, you are selling a concept, you are selling an emotion, right? You're building an emotional connection with your brand. It is extremely important that your audiences relate to your brand. It should see your brand as a savior, as a solution, as something that you relate to. And even more so in a generation today, which wherein your Gen Zs and your Gen Alphas are not just simply buying products. They are conscious about what kind of products they are buying, right? Even if it's skincare, they look at things like is it PETA approved? Is it cruelty free? Is it vegan? Right? Even if they are going to buy vegetables, they see where is my vegetable coming from? Is it pesticide free? Is it organic? Sorry?
लाइव क्लास हाँ अरे आज काय झालं माहितीये का
Kunal, can you please go on mute? Okay, I have muted it. I hope. Yeah. Okay, yes, right. So it's I've lost my chain of thought. This is why I don't like being disturbed while I'm talking. Where was I? What was I saying? What was I saying?
So this generation, they will check the
Oh, yes,
products before
yes,
they
yes.
buy.
Thank you. Right. So this is a generation that does not simply buy a product, right? So as a brand, you have to keep talking about what makes your brand stand apart from other competitor brands in the market, right? So you have to be very careful about communicating that your audiences in the right manner, which is why campaigns like this do well. The other point that I think Mayank again had mentioned, which I want to take a few moments to talk about, is how um, mothers are actually the biggest brand ambassador for any product, because even though they might be housewives, they are actually the decision makers of the family. What brand of oil you eat, where you buy your vegetables from, where you buy your clothes from, which brands masalas you use in the kitchen. All of these are decisions that are made by a mother. Most importantly, if a brand has got to do anything with children, the biggest brand ambassador is a mother, because if it is mom approved, that means the brand is good to go. It's safe. If a mother is advocating for a brand or a product, it means it can be trusted. Which is why Bonvita uses mothers as a key a character in their ads. Which is why Maggie uses mothers in their ads. You know, where a mom says, "Do minute mein healthy bhi, tasty bhi," right? Because if a mom is saying that Maggie is good to eat, then it is mom approved. It is safe. It is good to go, right? Similarly, showing fathers' relationships with their children, showing sibling relationships. All of these fit into certain brackets for brands, and they become the biggest brand ambassadors for the brand itself, right? Now, the reason I have shown you these ads is because now, next, when you go on your Instagram feed and you're seeing any brand content, don't just view the content. Ask yourself, why are there certain characters in this ad? What does the tagline say? You know, what emotion is this brand trying to build? What are you feeling after watching this ad, right? Are you feeling happy? Do you feel connected? Do you feel disconnected? Do you feel angry, right? Try to see what kind of emotions that brand is trying to bring out of you. When you look at other brands closely, when you do this analyzing over time, automatically you will start thinking like a brand. It does not come overnight. It comes only with years of experience, and it will get better. Today, you might have 1 year of experience, and I have 10 years of experience. But my experience will get better with time. Your experience will get better with time. So it's not it never stops as a learning curve. You're always going to get better at it. The only way to get better at it is by looking at what other people and other brands are doing, so that you keep getting inspired and keep trying to do something similar for your brands as well. Yes, Maya.
ओके सो वन मोर थिंग विच आई वांट टू ऐड ये जस्ट मेरे माइंड में अभी क्लिक हुआ एंड मेरी पर्सनल मेंटेलिटी चाहे कुछ भी हो सकती है एक्स वाई जेड बट अगर मैं एक मार्केटियर माइंड से अगर मैं एक सोचूंगा मैम जिस तरह से हमारा पॉलिटिकल जो एस्पेक्ट जो अभी चल रहा है कंट्री के अंदर हम लोग शुरुआत से एक चीज देखते आ रहे हैं ये मेरा एक कवर अप है कि जहाँ पे कि हम लोग बोलते हैं हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई आपस में भाई भाई जो हमारा एक एक मोटिव चलता आ रहा है अगेन ये मेरा पर्सनल मानना नहीं है लेकिन हाँ अगर मैं एक मार्केटिंग टर्म में अगर मैं सोचता हूँ तो एक 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 अलग सा एक ना एक प्रोजेक्शन चल रहा है जहाँ पे हिंदुइज्म एंड मोमेडियनिज्म ये सब चीजें बहुत ज्यादा तो इस बीच में सर्फ एक्सल का ऐसा कुछ लेकर आना जो पूरी तरह से बेस्ड था रमजान पे सो क्या यहाँ पे यू नो यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट कि यहाँ पे कुछ एक डिस्कनेक्ट हो सकता है ऑडियंस के साथ सर्फ एक्सल का या ऐसा
ऐसा
कुछ
big politically, there's going to be always something or the other that happens in the market. Now, as a brand, you can choose to Surf Excel can choose to not do an ad for Ramzan, right? But they chose to do an ad for Ramzan because detergent does not have a religion. Everybody needs to wash their clothes at home, right? Now, as a brand, maybe someone might say that, okay, I don't want to create a product for a certain religion, but you don't have any control over how a viewer purchases your product, right? But by doing something like this during a Ramzan, Surf Excel is definitely trying to say that my product has no discrimination. It is for everyone. And also remember that when a brand is selling a product, the brand only wants to know money is coming. Where is the money coming from? What religion, what caste, what gender does not matter. It has to make money at the end of the day, right? Which is why if a Surf Excel has done an ad around Ramzan, they would have also done something around Diwali, right? Amazon would do a sale around say Diwali. It will also do a sale around Eid, right? There'll be an Eid offer that is running. So irrespective, these are just occasions that they want to build to create a storyline and bring their product into the forefront. But brands ultimately cannot be taking a political stand wherever
I
there is
wanted
money.
to add something.
Sure.
Like in Holi, Surf Excel made the ad like Hindus are throwing holies, and then one Hindu girl is protecting that boy, which
Yes,
is
yes,
who is
yes,
wearing
yes.
the white kurta. So they make
Yeah,
ads like that according
that
to the
also. Yes.
festivals.
Correct,
So it
correct, correct.
totally
Yeah,
depends
thanks for
upon the
reminding.
festival. Yeah.
Thank you for reminding. It was a very beautiful ad. Let me see. It might be. Hold on. I might have it handy. I just remembered I might have it handy.
They don't make ad like that anymore, but they used to make so beautiful, beautiful ads. Like every festival,
Again,
we
I
used to
want
get
to
the
add
good, good
कि
ads.
don't take me otherwise. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
just एक मेरा थॉट था जो मुझे पूछना था. So don't take me
Yes,
otherwise
yes, Mayank.
because मुझे पता है यहाँ पे सभी लोग अवेलेबल हैं.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
अगर ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है तो वो मैं पूछना चाह रहा था. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I found the ad. Let me just show it to you. It's contextual right now to watch this, so let's watch it.
ए, फेंक के दिखाना बस
घर से निकलो खेलो
अरे
खेलो यारा रंग इंद्रधनुष के जैसे रह लो सारे संग.
अब तो मार लो ना सब खत्म बाहर आ जा सब खत्म हो गया
मैं तुझ में तू मुझ में अपनी दोनों की है एक ही दास्तां अपनों के संग रंग लाए संग.
नमाज पढ़ कर आता हूँ बाद में रंग पड़ेगा
अपनेपन के रंग से औरों को रंगने में दाग लग जाए तो दाग अच्छे हैं. सर्फ एक्सेल.
I think this was the ad that Tasnya you were talking about. Yeah, so brands do contextual things that like that way also, and of course, that I mean, you still remember the ad. I still remember the ad, so that's the best compliment we can give the brand, right? That we
Yes.
still remember the ad after many years, right? So that's how you when you think like a brand, you don't think from a religion perspective. You think from an occasion perspective. Yes, how do I make my brand relevant for Diwali? How do I make my brand relevant for Independence Day, for Republic Day? That is something we think of, but we don't necessarily have to think about the political aspect of it or the casteist aspect of it. Right? Anything else? Anyone else who wants to share anything or ask anything?
Yeah, can I just mention another
Sure.
campaign that I recently came across?
Sure.
Something, I think it was about Surf Excel. So there was this Women's World Cup winning moment. So Jemima Rodriguez had, scored so many runs during the semifinals. So I think Surf Excel made use of this. They just sent her a jersey saying, dirt is good.
Yeah.
Because her jersey was
correct.
a bit
Yes,
dirty after the semifinals, and they sort of capitalized that moment, made it a campaign. So I just came across this, so that sort of stuck with me.
Yes,
So
yes, absolutely. And it was a very heartwarming gesture from the brand's end to do to send something like that.
Yeah,
Yes, totally.
sorry. So it was all while marketing their ad, they were also celebrating the World Cup win. So it was
Yeah.
no longer just about
Correct,
the
correct, correct.
product, but also creating a personal connect, celebrating that moment for
Correct. Yes, absolutely. There is one more ad that I'm trying to find, but I'm not able to. Maybe I can show it in the next class. Or just give me a moment, 1 second.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Like we are a starter, like we are fresher in this field. If I want the business from big brands, so how can I approach to that particular company? So the telling that I am doing this ad marketing and social media marketing.
You have
How
to
can
build your
I?
portfolio. You have to first build your portfolio. You can't just go to a brand and say, I can do work for you. You have to show them what work you have done earlier, previously,
Oh,
right? Build a
oh,
portfolio. And then accordingly try to sell your skills to any brand that you want to work with. And if they have a requirement, then they would work.
okay, okay.
Okay. I'm
Thank
not able to find the ad. If I find it in the next class, I'll definitely show it. It's a very interesting ad. But yes, you get the gist of it, right? Now, today's class was just to get you guys started on the world of social media, and also the ads. I've just shown you very, very few ads. There are so many more ads that I have, and we will see a few of it, but obviously, I will not be able to share everything, right? But please look into what other brands are doing. Get as much inspiration as you can from watching other brands ads. Look at some OG ads, some older ads, that were very popular, that were, shifting cultures, etc. Because once you start, when you get inspired, is when you start thinking like that for your brands that you're managing as well. And your life as a content marketer becomes much easier because you're always surrounded by good ideas in your head, because you're always trying to feed good ideas into your head as well. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we can actually wrap up our class for today. We'll have our next. Yes, yes.
मैम वन मोर थिंग मैम अभी एक एड चल रहा है जहाँ पे कि एक ब्रांड दूसरे ब्रांड को कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करता है लाइक अभी एक फॉग फॉग का एक परफ्यूम आया है जिसमें कि जो बेला विटा को कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट कर रहा है
Okay.
लाइक कि देर इज अ पर्सन जो सिटिंग ऑन अ चेयर एंड सेड मुझे मेरे एक फ्रेंड ने डिस्काउंट की वजह से ये एक बॉक्स दिया है एंड अंदर क्या है वो बहुत मायने रखता है सो दिस इज समथिंग जो जहाँ पे कि दूसरे ब्रांड को नीचे करके हमारे ब्रांड को ऊपर
हाँ.
करना सो मैम ये वाली जो टेक्निक है
Hmm.
क्या ये वर्कआउट करती है मार्केट में
Depends on how tastefully you're doing it. For ages, competing brands have done something sarcastic with each other. McDonald's and Burger King has done it for many years. Coca-Cola and Pepsi has done it with each other for many years. So it's not something new. But all of these things have been done uh, sometimes in a very funny manner, so people enjoy it. Sometimes it can be distasteful, and it can be something that the other company can sue you for. Which is why, even if you are calling out a competitor brand, you are not supposed to mention the brand, you are not supposed to show their logo or even their product. If you do that, the other brand can sue you for defamation. So brands do it in a very safe manner. It is encouraged once in a while. It's fun to do it, very honestly. But you have to be a big enough brand to pull it off well, so that people don't feel, off about it.
ओके मैम थैंक यू
Yeah.
Apple
Okay.
and Samsung has done it actually. And
Yes, Apple and Samsung a lot of times. In fact, most brands try to mock Apple in most
BMW
of
and
their.
Audi.
Yes, yes, that is also a competitor.
They test rivalry.
Sorry?
Like they tease each other with
Correct.
their ad campaigns.
Yes, yes. When done in a funny manner, both brands are having fun, and see, ultimately, both brands are getting publicity out of it. So unless it is distasteful and insensitive, it's okay. You can have fun once in a while like that. Okay. All right. We'll wrap up today's class. We'll
Ma'am.
start our. Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes, Preeti.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Please go ahead.
Just a general question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, do you think that any lay person can be a social media marketer?
No. It looks like it, but no. Trust me, when you get into social media marketing, you'll realize that a lot of people know what's happening on social media. A lot of people might also have ideas of what you can do in social media. Very, very few people know how to execute ideas. Very few people can come up with ideas and tell you that this is how we should execute it. That is something that is a skill that you learn over time. So no, you can be a content creator, but you cannot be a social media manager that easily.
So, what all quality do you think that a social media marketer should have?
We discussed actually a slide of skills that a social media manager should
So,
have.
we need to work accordingly.
Yes, yes. But most
Fine.
importantly, you need to be someone who has a lot of creativity. Without creativity, it is not an industry you will survive in. It is not, it is a creative first industry. Of course, data is there. You have to, do the reporting, campaign reporting, etc. But at the heart of it, it is a creative industry. If you are not someone who thinks more in a creative, from your creative side of the brain, it's going to be a very difficult industry to work in. It's also not a typical industry that if you have learned 5 books, you are automatically an expert in the industry. That's not the case, because things keep changing here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, go
The
ahead.
algorithm keeps changing. You guys are my 33rd batch. For every batch, there has been some new update on Instagram. So it's not like I have stopped learning. I can also not stop learning. It's a very dynamic industry that way. So yeah.
Yeah, because
Know
running an
your
ad
Instagram
campaign is
profile.
comparatively easier than thinking in a very creative way. So
Sorry,
that
sorry.
just running an ad campaign is comparatively easier than
Yes.
thinking in a
Because you
creative
know
way.
what the outcome would be if you just do some math. But with creativity, that's not possible.
Anyways, we'll try.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. No worries. Somebody else was saying something.
Yeah, I want to say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
कौन बोल रहा है मैं बोलूँ या कोई और
Who was it? I couldn't see your name.
ओके
I
मैं
just
बोलूँ
wanted to know your username for Instagram. Like,
Oh my God. Creative age, that is something I will share towards the end of our class, because if I
okay,
share it now, then everyone's going to bombard me on my DMs, which I don't want right now. So
okay,
on my last class, I'll share it with you and you guys can follow me at that time.
okay.
Ma'am,
Yes,
can we
Pushpa.
get PPT link
This will be shared
like
with
we
you
got
from the
in
My
previous?
Captain team. Avnish would be sharing the PPTs with you.
Okay.
Yes, Pushparaj.
okay how to make surrogate ads actually
How to make surrogate ads?
surrogate ads the kind of job I went to right now is does that
It's a
a
very,
lot
very big question. Like there is so many I mean, to make a surrogate ad, first of
okay
all, you
to
need to get into
inefficient way I guess just add in efficient way
in an
that's surrogate
efficient
ads
way. It's not something that I can tell you in 5 minutes, right? Because surrogate marketing is, first of all, understanding who your target audience is. Second of
okay
all, what problem are you solving for your target audience, right? Like how does your brand come into place in solving that issue, right? It involves a lot of consumer insight. It involves a lot of understanding your consumer, like your ideal customer behavior, right? These are all very, very vast topics that we are discussing in bits and pieces through our classes coming up, right? So in 5-10 minutes, I won't be able to explain how to do surrogate advertising. In
so
bits
we'll
and
discuss it
pieces,
in upcoming classes right
yes, but we're not directly looking at surrogate advertising because this is more a social media marketing class, right?
okay
As a part of it, certain content can be surrogate content. So we'll look at it that way. But specifically, when I'm going to take a look at ad filmmaking.
oh, okay sure
Yeah. Anyone else?
मैम यहाँ पे जो सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग इसमें हमारा कोई एआई का भी टूल इसमें सिखाएंगे या फिर कैसा क्या रहेगा
My classes, we have very, very basic AI tools that you can use for bettering your ideation and bettering your content as such. But other than that, no specific AI tools are going to be discussed in my class. In
ओके
your performance and SEO, you might still have, not for Instagram specifically.
ओके
Okay. Anyone else?
मैम एनीथिंग स्पेसिफिक जो सिखाया जाएगा लाइक जो हमें हमें यूज करने में आसानी हो लाइक अगर हम कोई अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहें इस ड्यूरेशन पे लाइक ड्रॉप
For,
शिपिंग या फिर कुछ भी ऐसा कुछ
uh, for Instagram, you will specifically have classes on Reels, which is basically how to script your Reels, what are the best practices for Reels, etc. So that is one of the major parts of this curriculum. And of course, analytics. So Instagram analytics, what is available at the backend, and how do you use that backend data to better your content strategy? We're going to take a look at your content calendars. How do you come up with a content strategy? What are the different buckets of content that you can create content under? Reels, scripting for reels. How do you make a reel, etc. Those are the things that we're going to do in this batch, in this curriculum.
ओके थैंक यू मैम थैंक यू सो मच
No worries. Anyone else? Okay, so we can wrap up. I'll see you guys for our next class on when today's Monday, right? Yeah, Wednesday next. Okay. All right. Have a good week, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.